you're back on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez, and we're going to finish up. Sorry, everything kind of went wrong on that one. James'
Why?
Wi-Fi went out, so. But let's get back to that question. Can you hear me, James?
Cora answered that about the Eastern Europeans not being as effective
Yeah.
10 years
So
they are now.
yeah. So, um, with that being said, it was like last night, Tim Bradley brought up about he was like, yeah, the Eastern European awkward style. They're straight up and down. They fight tall. That was the '80s and '90s. They fight totally different now. I mean, they are athletic and they box. And Lomachenko does not fight like the '80s style. Bivol does not fight like that.
Yeah,
Usyk does not fight like that.
yeah.
So. But I was going back to that, the question that was asked. Is there anything you want to bring up that you said you wanted to mention something about it?
No, I was just listening to you on that because you know what's going on that question too.
Yeah.
So I think my main thing to Sakura was what had happened was over 20, 30 years ago, these Eastern Bloc countries like Ukraine, Romania, Poland, Russia, they have these Eastern Bloc trainers from the 1950s and 1960s that were training the same way. And what happened in that somewhere around the early 2000s, they started bringing trainers in from the U.S., from Mexico, from England, from Ireland, and they started doing the training, helping out, and they started evolving. And there's still countries today that has not evolved either. Like Cuba, they've still not brought people in, or Western Africa, and that's why they're still fighting the same way without those Plan B, C's, and D's, or without another intangible plan.
Exactly. And that's going back onto the thing like last night what I was talking about, with Bradley.
Yeah,
I mean, it's changed. They went back to the drawing board and they studied, and it's what it is. So with that question being, with the whole thing, yeah, staying away from it. I mean, enjoy boxing, enjoy every fighter, enjoy every style from every region.
yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Man, when you see it, because every region has their own style. We know that. Um, it's interesting. It makes the sport fun.
I
Right?
still I still think the U.S. America has one of the best styles for fighting. Though still, I think we have one of the best styles. We adapted so many different styles from all over the world. We mixed them into one.
Yeah. The only problem is sometimes is having the right coach to. We have the style that can get on the inside. We have the style that can stay on the outside and box.
Yeah.
The problem is having the right coach that could put that blueprint together.
Do you believe it's better to take your time like that and develop a fighter from the very beginning like that, or do you believe that you should take the fighter's strengths they already have and build on those, and the weaknesses, trying to minimize those, or do you like taking fighters from the very beginning and breaking them down and starting them over?
But to fight a different style?
Yeah,
No, I don't think you should break down any fighter for that. I mean, a style, but you could work on film and you could work for that training camp.
yeah,
You could absolutely that as a pro fighter who's already established. You can absolutely 2 months is absolutely enough time to break down film, bring in
yeah,
the right sparring partners, and to put a game plan ahead.
yeah,
2 months is not enough time to break down for one style, one fight that you may only fight one time in your career,
yeah.
and try to restart a whole fighter for that style. You can't do that. So I think having a right trainer is key, and having the right sparring partners is key.
Yeah. Well, my question is this: you have amateurs, and if that amateur, her style, if your young amateur style, or another trainer had ruined her before you got to her, let's just say, do you have a problem trying to take her from square one and starting her again, being at her age, or would you want to just fix the little mistakes that that trainer had made?
No, totally different ball game. You're talking about a very young person in sport.
Yeah.
There's time to start them over again and break them down. There's time to go back to square one. They have the sparring, they have the fight, so they know what it's like to be in combat. They know what it's like to get hit.
Yeah,
Um, and you still have plenty of time to rechange them because they're not far enough in. I think when after 5, 6 years, I think it's when it becomes really, really hard to restyle somebody.
yeah,
A lot of these trainers that get fighters, that's not enough time after years of training one way and fighting one way. Um, it takes time to. It takes a lot of time.
yeah,
You could work on it and try to instill it, but again, we go back to the Gotti Buddy McGirt thing.
yep,
Look at that fight. Buddy McGirt had Gotti. Yes, he got Gotti to box, but Gotti was a banger. Gotti trained. That's why Gotti was trained to fight. Um, as soon as you hit Gotti with a good shot, the only thing he knew was to go back and bang.
and
That was
back
it.
and back you, right?
Yeah.
I agree. Uh, that's what I was wondering though. Like, is that do you so you do? It's a different ball game with a young amateur than it is a professional fighter that's had 20 years of experience.
No, big difference. I mean, you're talking at that point in the pros, you're talking about having to go in and really reset them over again and restart them. And how can you do that with a 25 or a 26-year-old in the middle of their career?
True,
You can't. It's just hard. It's one of the there's just not enough time. Um, you're talking about a guy who at that age got to like relearn that whole style now. That ain't gonna take a year or two. You know.
true. What do you?
You gotta look at okay. Look, break it down. First of all, he's got to work on all of his punches and combos and how he throws them.
Yeah,
You got to work on his foot placement. You got to work on his hip and his stance. You got to
yeah,
work on where his legs. Then he got to work on how he dodges punches and how he sees the punches coming from that angle or from that style and how he would counter. I mean, just everything about it is just too long. You couldn't do it.
yeah. What's on, Esteban? What's up? Hey guys, and
It says, "Who do you guys think Cantalupe will fight?" Best guess. I don't know. I don't know anything on Cantalupe, to be honest with you, James.
I don't either.
I don't. Canelo. Oh, okay. That's a hell of a spell checker.
Yeah.
Uh, Canelo into Canada. Yeah, Canada. I was going Cantalupe. Um, spell checker. Who do you guys think Canelo will fight? Who are they saying Canelo's going to fight?
Oh man. I don't know who at this point is.
I don't know. Kevin from Chicago goes, did anybody actually think Postol was going to win a decision against Ramirez? He need multiple knockdowns at least. I
I
don't
don't.
know, Kevin.
Yeah.
It came close though. It was majority decision.
What do you think, Kelly? What's your idea about all these fathers training their sons?
What's that?
What's your opinion on all these fathers training their sons now?
Some that could work, and some I think it's a bad idea. I really do.
I mean, I see it now all the time, and people are praising it. But 10 years ago, they wanted, or 3 years ago, they wanted to ban it. You remember?
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it could ruin a relation. I think it could ruin a outside of the ring relationship. I think it's.
Yeah.
I think a father has too much other interest in with their kids that could
Yep.
overstep a lot. I don't like it.
Hey,
What's the word I'm looking for? There's too much of a
emotional attachment.
yeah.
You know,
Now, don't get me wrong. The Porter, that's a different thing, and people always throw out. But you're talking about, I think Jack Mosley and Porter are an exception. But other than that, I don't like it. I don't. I mean, yeah, I get. Now I'm rounding off names. It worked for Calzaghe. It worked for Mosley. It worked for
Trinidad and Cotto.
yeah, it worked for them. But a lot of fighters it didn't work for. I don't
Yep.
know. I guess the more you really break it down, I mean, there's Calzaghe, Mosley,
Yep.
Porter.
Virgil works for Virgil now.
Yeah, but that's a little different
Yeah.
because
They got,
Robert still got a big part in that too.
yeah. What do you think? It seems like Esteban missed our first show a little bit ago, so he's asking about thoughts on Taylor versus Ramirez. I have, I got the fight as a pick 50 pick 'em just on their styles alone. I don't know what Kelly would say. What do you think, Kelly?
I don't know. I was not paying attention.
Uh, Esteban wants to know who you have versus Ramirez and Postal. Or not Postal,
Oh,
Ramirez.
yeah, I got that fight, man. I don't know. That's a 50-50. That is a toss up.
I know.
If I had to like rate at this point and lean towards somebody, I think Ramirez might be a little too sharp. Um, let's not get it wrong here. Pro Grace is tough.
Or no, Taylor.
It can hit, but Taylor can too. But I'm just saying, Pro Grace and Taylor fought.
Yeah,
I think Ramirez is a lot more. His punches are a lot more compact, and I think his speed is a notch better. I don't know, man. It's a 50-50 fight. It really is. Taylor showed a lot in that last fight, but we'd also got to look at how much punishment did he really take in that fight too.
yeah. He did take a lot of punishment that fight.
There's so many factors, and sometimes you know what, that fight with Pro Grace may not bother him for another 3 years. Who knows?
Hey guys, I'm off camera right now because something my Wi-Fi acted stupid.
Well,
So
James, we gonna knock it off anyways. We just wanted to get back and finish up that.
that question,
Yeah,
Cora, Nikki's on. How you doing, Nikki? But yeah, we got that question knocked out. So
we're not gonna.
beat a dead horse.
Yeah, we want to just get back on and finish up that. I think it was an important question. I think it's an important thing to talk about. But
It really is. I mean,
that was huge because I heard them all talking. Like I said, what's his name? Andre Ward and
Tim, Tim Bradley.
Bradley. When they were talking about that, I think they were a little wrong on that again. The Eastern European style has changed big time. They're not tall, straight up and down, type fighters anymore. You got a couple, maybe Kovalev.
And Postol. Those guys are leftover from that era, you know.
Yeah, but a lot of these newer ones are like different, flashy.
I,
Um,
I thought it was Lomachenko, that one kid, that middleweight.
yeah, exactly. That middleweight stuff. So, but hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I had another great show. That was fun. It went quick.
Watch the first
Um,
show.
no, I'm talking about the first show. We didn't have a chance to finish up, but this is attached to it, James.
Yeah, I
This is
know.
part two of
Part,
episode 8.
but
So yeah, so stay tuned. Next week we will be back on.
next Sunday at 7, right?
Yep, and go to the Facebook page and go to the boxing group and talk on there, and then also go to YouTube and like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you guys next week.
All right. Have a great one, guys.
Have a good one.